Football fans, what up though? Welcome back to Full Contact Football. Today we're going to take a look at the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year for 2022. We've got Tariqwoolen from the Seattle Seahawks, Saucegardner from the New York Jets, Aidan Hutchinson from the Detroit Lions. We'll obviously take a look at some of their stats, what they've done this year, and their impact on the league, and give you a winner. But first, let's take a look at some of the snubs or guys that also had a good year. Now, just looking at the honorable mentions for a moment, you've got Jalen Petrie, second rounder out of Baylor. He had an outstanding season with 147 total tackles, 5 interceptions, was up there at the top of the leaderboard. You also had Kyle Hamilton, first rounder out of Notre Dame. Kyle was used very well by the Baltimore Ravens defense. He's an all-around good football player. Had 62 tackles, 2 sacks, 5 PBUs, and is used both in the run and pass game, as you can tell by those stats. You also had Kayvon Thibodeau, first rounder out of Oregon. Kayvon had 40 pressures, 4 sacks of the quarterback. Your next one is Quay Walker, first rounder out of UGA for the Packers. This kid's the real deal. He had 121 total tackles, 11 quarterback pressures, 3 forced fumbles, 7 pass breakups or passes defended. I mean, he's a ball hawk. Finally, you also have Devin Lloyd, first rounder as well out of Utah for the Jacksonville Jaguars. 115 total tackles, 3 interceptions, 8 passes defended. So linebackers that are used in multi-facets. But moving on. So our first finalist is Tariqwoolen, the 5th round pick from Seattle, coming out of University of Texas at San Antonio. He's definitely a diamond in the rough. I'm pretty sure he didn't get as much coverage as, one would probably like as a prospect from that school. But, switching over from receiver to corner, being a very raw prospect, all led to that. But nonetheless, he fits really well into Seattle's cover 3 system, cover 3 match system. He's also able to run with pretty much any receiver, having that 4.26 40, and also being 6'4", so it's tough to get the ball around him. But nonetheless, he had a great season, had a huge run there in the first 6 weeks of the season, where you can see he had about 4 interceptions and even taking one back to the house. But definitely great year from Tyreek, and looking forward to seeing much more from him. Next up, you got the man that's so good at what he does, we don't even know his first name. We got Saucegardner here. Ahmad has done a really good job at, coming into the league and taking on that role of a shutdown corner. Being 6'3", 200 pounds, he's very lengthy. He's very quick and agile as well, which makes it very difficult for quarterbacks to throw around this guy. Same as Tyreek, right? These are some physical specimens at cornerbacks. These are pretty much shooting guards playing cornerback, which is what you want and what you need really in this day and age of NFL. But Sauce, like I said, came in, had a great year, did a really good job tackling, getting guys on the ground, had 2 interceptions, according to ESPN, over 20 passes defended, which is outstanding. And everybody knows if you turn on the film, he is going to make it very difficult for your receiver to get open or to have any luck throwing the ball his direction. So last but not least is Aidan Hutchinson, the pride and joy of Michigan and the Detroit Lions on their defense this year. If you watch the draft, I don't think you've seen a war room more happy for a team to skip over a player than the Detroit Lions were to get Aidan Hutchinson as the 2nd pick in the draft this year. But nonetheless, he was an immediate impact, 9.5 sacks, tons of pressure, super motor on this kid. I mean, he does not stop. He is going to get after you. And he's not penalized a lot either, which I was surprised to see, because usually guys that are high motor, just out of trying to do their job, they're going to rack up penalties because they're a little bit more aggressive, but he's able to kind of keep that in check. And just to be honest with you, that defense struggled at times this year, but he is definitely going to be a good leader for them. And it was good to see the Detroit Lions have a winning season, which, it's a struggle for them just to win a game sometimes. Now, looking at the finalists and reviewing everything, stats, impact, watching a little film, I think between Woolen, Sauce, Hutch, the clear winner to me is Saucegardner. When you really look at his season overall, and looking at some of the stats through PFF, which grades literally every single play of the season and can compare the guys a little bit deeper than like ESPN stats, Saucegardner was 15th overall in terms of his defensive grade of all players in the league at 88.5%. Hutchinson was 64, and Tariqwoolen was way down the list, well into the hundreds, at I think it was like 60-something% or 70%, excuse me. But Jordan Davis, Hafanga, Thibodeau, McDuffie, Kyle Hamilton was actually 16 behind Sauce. James Houston, all of these guys were before Tariqwoolen. So Tariq had a big splash year, but Sauce was a little bit more cleaner in coverage. He had the #1 coverage grade overall at 90%. He makes a fewer mistakes, less missed tackles. When you also look at some of the coverage, like closer coverage stats, they had the same amount of targets, but Sauce was able to give up less receptions, less yards, less touchdowns. Okay, like I said, he's just a cleaner choice as a defender. And like I said, Hutchinson did a great job, led a really good Detroit team, and is going to be phenomenal in years to come, and definitely made the Lions look maybe a little bit smarter than Jacksonville, but Walker still got a chance, not to write him off. But long story short, Hutchinson just, I don't think had the same impact over the entire season in playing some of the tougher matchups coverage-wise that Gardner had to do with dealing with, Stephon Diggs with the Bills, and, who else is over there? Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I mean, those guys were explosive, but when you look at their stats, they did little to nothing against the Jets this year in their games against Sauce and their coverage. So Saucegardner's going to walk away with this award, guys. Don't want to overtalk this, but thanks for watching. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe, and definitely comment too. Engage the channel a little bit, guys. Let me know who you think may have deserved more of a mention as a rookie finalist or honorable mention, and let's grow the channel.